Dear students, we have long back started topic that is lipids. In that we have discussed fats and oils. So up till now we have covered what we have covered up till now: physical properties of fats and oils, chemical properties of fats and oils. Then we have covered some of the characteristics properties of fats and oils. So in that up till now we have covered acetyl value, saponification value, iodine value, Richard Missile value. So this we have covered. Now the contents of today's presentation are: today we are going to cover one of the remaining characteristic property of all those fats and oil. Yesterday we have discussed the definition of this, but we have not covered the procedure and principle involved in the determination of acetyl value. Then we are going to cover one of the chemical property, one of the property of fats and oils, that is drying of oil. Followed by we are going to cover the applications of drying of oil. Then we are going to cover hydrogenation of oils and oils, and followed by we are going to cover applications of hydrogenation of oil and fat. So these many points today we are going to cover in our lecture. Now, first we will cover last analytical constant or last characteristic property of fat and oil, that is determination of acetyl value. Now, yesterday we have discussed when any fat and oil will react with acetic anhydride, it is converted into acetylated derivative. So this we have discussed yesterday. What is acetyl value? It will measure the free hydroxyl group in the substance. Now, acetyl value actually measures the free hydroxyl group in the substance. Substance means which substance we are going to take, either fat or oil. And this free hydroxyl group determination is done by the acetylation. So we are going to acetylate this free hydroxyl group with the help of acetic anhydride, and after that the how much amount of potassium hydroxide is required for this neutralization of acetic acid. Now during this acetylation procedure there is formation of acetic acid, and this acetic acid is neutralized by potassium hydroxide and by the hydrolysis of 1 gram of acetylated substance. Means this procedure is divided into two steps. First step is acetylation of fat and oil. This acetylation is done by the acetic anhydride, and after acetylation there is production of acetic acid, and this acetic acid which is produced during the acetylation procedure, this acetic acid is neutralized by potassium hydroxide. So, किती amounts of potassium hydroxide is utilized for the neutralization of formed acetic acid when after the acetylation of given fat and oil. This procedure or this is the definition of determination of acetyl value. Now, some fatty acid contain hydroxyl group, and in order to determine the proportion of the presence of hydroxyl group, they are acetylated first. This result in the generation of acetyl functional group. म्हणजे hydroxyl functional group will be changed into acetyl functional group, and at that time there is production of acetic acid takes place, and this acetic acid we are neutralizing with the help of potassium hydroxide, and amount of potassium hydroxide required for this neutralization is nothing but determination of acetyl value. Now what will be the procedure? We will just brief out the procedure for determination of acetyl value. Determination of saponification value of the substance under examination. Yesterday we have discussed determination of ester value is can be followed after the determination of acid value. This we have discussed. Similarly, here determination of acetyl value can be done after the determination of saponification value. Acetylate the substance under examination by following method. We have discussed that determination of acetyl value involves two steps. First, we have to acetylate that given substance with the help of acetic anhydride, and after acetylation, the acetylated derivative is neutralized with the help of potassium hydroxide. This we have discussed. That means the procedure also involved in the experiment is divided into basically two steps. First step is acetylation. So for that, 10 gram of the 10 gram of substance with 20 ml of acetic anhydride in a long naked round bottom flask we are going to take, and this we are going to reflux it in the condenser. Support the flask on a sheet of resistant material with a hole of about 4 centimeter diameter. Then not more than 25 mm of height, means this we are going to, this is the dimension of flask they have given. Then we are going to boil this mixture for up about 2 hours. That means acetylation procedure will be done of about 2 hours. Then this mixture we are going to allow to cool and pour the same mixture in 600 ml of water contained in a large beaker. In that, add 0.2 gram of pumice powder and boil for 30 minutes. Then this mixture is cooled and transferred to a separator. Discard the lower layer and wash the acetylated product with water. After washing, finally we are going to take 20 ml of warm water and remove the aqueous layer completely and pour the acetylated substance into small dish. Nobody will going to ask the procedure, just for this, for your understanding purpose only. So what is that? Acetylated substance into small dish, add 1 gram of anhydrous sodium sulfate and stir thoroughly and filter through a filter paper. After that, determine the saponification value of that acetylated substance. Now, the formula for determination of acetyl value is 1335 into bracket B minus A divided by 1335 minus A. What is that? Where A is the saponification value of the substance which we have already determined. While determining ester value, we have taken the acid value or acid number in the calculation. This determination of acetyl value can be done after the determination of saponification value. That's why the saponification number is there in the formula. So what is the formula for determination of acetyl value? Acetyl value is equal to 1335 into bracket, this is the constant factor, B minus A divided by 1335 minus A, where A is the saponification value of that substance की जे आपण already determine केलेली आहे, and B is the saponification value of acetylated substance, and यांचा difference is nothing but the difference, and this formula will give us the acetyl value. So this is the procedure and principle involved in the determination of acetyl value, which will be our last characteristic property of fat and oil. Now, yesterday we have discussed this one of the deterioration procedure of all fats and oils. What happened in this? The double bond containing unsaturated fatty acids will come in contact with the atmospheric oxygen and converted into aldehydes. During this, they will produce a deteriorated odor. They may produce some unpleasant taste and unpleasant odor. So this is the deterioration procedure of oil and fat called as rancidification of fat. Now we'll discuss this rancidification in detail because they are going to ask this for 5 marks. Write a note on rancidification. So we have to discuss this in detail. What is rancidity? Rancidity is the complete or incomplete oxidation. What is that? It is either एकतर ते काय आहे complete or incomplete oxidation, or first it is oxidation or hydrolysis of fat on oil when exposed to the air. What happens? There will be a hydrolysis of fat and oil when they are exposed to the air, light, moisture, or by the bacterial action. So this will result in the deterioration when they are exposed to the light, air, and oxygen. So this will result into unpleasant taste, odor. This we have discussed. Specifically, it is the hydrolysis or auto-oxidation of the fat into short-chain aldehydes. We have discussed that the conversion of fatty acid into aldehyde takes place and ketones, which are objectionable in the taste and odor. 3 pathways for the rancidification. So this rancidification can be done or it takes place by 3 mechanisms, maybe 3 mechanisms. So first mechanism is hydrolysis, second mechanism is oxidative, and third mechanism is due to microbial contamination. What is rancidification? It is nothing but the conversion of good quality fat or oil into deteriorated fat, and this deterioration is happen or it is done by the air, light, moisture, and by the bacteria. So this will convert them into, or it is will result into unpleasant taste and odor. Now what are those 3 pathways of rancidification? So the 3 pathways of rancidification are hydrolytic, oxidative, and microbial. Now first, hydrolytic rancidity refers to the odor that develops when triglycerides are hydrolyzed and free fatty acids are released. What happens? Hydrolytic means hydrolysis. So rancidity refers to the odor which will develop when? कभी होता है when the triglycerides are hydrolyzed and free fatty acids are released. We have discussed that the triglycerides, when it is hydrolyzed, they will convert it into the fatty acid and glycerol. Fatty acid and glycerol. This reaction of lipid with water may require catalyst, leading to the formation of free fatty acid and glycerol. And this resulting free fatty acid can be easily deteriorated. So this is the first step or first mechanism of rancidification. That means hydrolysis, that means conversion of triglyceride into fatty acid and glycerol. Second mechanism of formation of second mechanism of rancidification. It is oxidative. Oxidative rancidity is associated with the degradation by oxygen in the air. The first will take place in the presence of water, hydrolysis in the presence of water. Second will take place in the presence of oxygen in the air. The double bond of an unsaturated fatty acid cleaved by. So the double bond containing unsaturated fatty acids are cleaved by free radical reactions involving molecular oxygen. That means this type of rancidification is done by atmospheric molecular oxygen. This we can prevent by adding antioxidants. Now you have heard these words, the pharmaceutics, that is antioxidant, which will prevent the oxidative damage of any formulation. Here, prevention of oxidative damage of this fat and oil. So we can use antioxidants. So these are used as a preservative in the food containing fats and oils. Now the examples of antioxidants, there are natural antioxidants are ascorbic acid or vitamin C, tocopherol, vitamin E. This you have studied in the biochemistry, that is vitamins, ascorbic acids and tocopherols can be used as a antioxidants. These are natural antioxidants. And synthetic antioxidants are butylated hydroxyanisole BHA, butylated hydroxytoluenes, and propyl gallate ethoxyquin. So they may be used as a preservative, as an antioxidant to prevent, to inhibit the oxidative damage of fat and oil. Now, third mechanism of deterioration of fat and oil or the rancidification, microbial rancidification. This is done by the microorganisms. So, this will be done by the microorganisms which are there in the bacteria, and they may done this procedure with the help of their enzymes such as lipases, which will break down those fatty acids uh, or which will deteriorate those fatty acids. But we can prevent this mechanism with the help of sterilization. Sterilization can be inhibit this procedure of microbial rancidification. So these are some of the structures of those antioxidants which are used as a preservative for prevention of rancidification of fats and oil. They are maybe natural and synthetic antioxidants. Now, one more applicative procedure of fat and oil is known as drying of oil. Now, drying oil is that which will harden and convert the oily substance into solid film after periodical exposure to the air. If we are going to keep some of the fats and oil for prolonged period of time as without using them, so they may harden, they may convert it into a semi-solid mass. This is known as drying of oil. The oil hardens through a chemical reaction. This also involves a chemical reaction in which components cross-link. So, a monomer substance can be converted into a polymer, means those fatty acids or oils, glycerols in their structure, they may form polymer, जसं की glucose polymer, starch. As like that, हे oil and fat substance जर आपण खूप दिवसांसाठी for a longer period of time we have stored them, so they may harden, so they may form a polymer due to prolonged storage by the, it is due to the oxygen action of oxygen. This does not happen due to the evaporation of water. It is not due to the evaporation of water in the oil. This hardening or this solidification is due to the polymerization reaction. Drying and semi-drying oils are the vegetable oil used to make oil color. But this drying procedure have something application. And what is the application? Those are dried oils or semi-dried oils are used to make the colors, oil colors. Which oils we are going to use for this purpose? Linseed oil, poppy oil and sunflower oil. The different methods for processing of oil or drying are semi-drying and non-drying oil. So the drying of oil, your examples of drying oil are classified into semi-drying oil and non-drying oil. Means असे कोणते ऑइल्स आहेत की जे आपण we can semi-dry them. And what are the examples of oils which are totally non-drying oil? So what are the semi-drying oil? Oil which partially hardens when it is exposed to air. थोड्या प्रमाणात they are converted to hard substance or hardens when they are exposed to the air. This is as opposed to the drying oil, which hardens completely, or non-drying oil, which does not harden at all. That means this semi-drying means partial drying. थोड्या प्रमाणात they will harden. They will not harden at all, म्हणजे they are not undergo this procedure at all, or they may, या सगळ्यांच्या opposite आहे. This will dry, this will harden, but in small consistency, which does not harden at all. Oil with the iodine number. So which type of oils will go for semi-drying purpose or semi-drying procedure? The oils which are going to have the iodine number, the oils which are going to have the iodine number between 115 to 130 are considered as semi-drying oil. Means which type of oils are go for semi-drying procedure or semi-hardening procedure? Those oils which will having the iodine number between 115 to 130. असेच oil फक्त will go for the semi-hardening procedure. Now next, non-drying oil. Non-drying oil means they will not at all go for hardening procedure. Now what are those? Oil which does not harden when it is exposed to the air. आपण किती पण दिवस जरी तो oil we have stored them, they will not harden at all. So what are those oils? Those oils are known as non-drying oils. Which type of oil will not go for drying purpose? Those having iodine number less than 150. Now this iodine number, what is this iodine number? Iodine number will determine the presence of double bond in the given fat and oil. ज्यांचा iodine number जास्त, they will have more number of unsaturation. That means just the unsaturation, they will harden. Less will be the unsaturation, they are non-drying oil at all. So those having less iodine number, that is less than 150, are considered as a totally non-drying oils, non-drying oils. So this will be the procedure, that is conversion of those that is hardening procedure, or drying of oil, that means polymerizing it. See here, monomer is converted into a dimer. So there will be a formation of bond between the fatty acids. Nobody is going to ask this reaction. Don't afraid. Now our third parameter is hydrogenation of oil. Hydrogenation means addition of hydrogen in the given fat and oil substance. So till now we have discussed rancidification of oil, drying of oil, and this will be our last parameter of hydrogenation of oil. What is hydrogenation? Hydrogenation is a chemical process where hydrogen reacts with the organic compound. Now here, organic compound means what? Our fat and oil. It refers to the saturation of unsaturated oil and fat. If we are going to add hydrogen, that means we are converting the double bonds into single bonds. We are converting the unsaturation into saturation. Molecules in the unsaturated fatty acids are bent. We have seen the structure. If there is presence of double bond, there is bend in between the structure of fatty acid. And this presence of double bond in the fatty acid will not allow them to close packly. That's why unsaturated fatty acids have lower melting and boiling point than saturated fatty acids. This we have discussed. This limit the intramolecular attractive forces and make their melting point lower, as they have not packed closely. The hydrogenation process removes those bends and kicks and make the fatty acids straight by making them fully saturated. That means trans fatty acid. The bend create झाल्यामुळे presence of double bond will create a bend or kick in the structure of fatty acid, and due to this bend the fatty acid is converted into cis conformer. But if we are hydrogenating those unsaturated fatty acids or those double bonds, this hydrogenation procedure will convert the cis conformer into trans conformer. Both saturation and trans fatty acids are straight. Therefore, they can stack up or they may close packly. This increases their melting point. Close packing will increase the melting point. Now, what is the purpose behind hydrogenation of oil and fat? They are cheap substitute for saturated fat, which we have obtained from the animal origin. So, this hydrogenation of oil and fat can be used as a substitute for the food purposes for the butter which we have obtained through the animal origin. So this hydrogenated oil can be used as a substitute for the butter. Hydrogenated oils are more stable than the unsaturated oils. As there is absence of double bond, so they may be, we can store them for prolonged period of time. The process of hydrogenation transforms fatty acid and prone to or maybe resistant to the rancidity, and it will also not spoil during cooking. Hydrogenated oils are also stable, or we can store them as like that of butter. Although butter is considered as a saturated fat as it contains short chain fatty acids. So as like that of butter, we can use those hydrogenated oil as a substitute for animal oriented butter. Now, there are types of hydrogenation. Two types of hydrogenation are there. Full hydrogenation and partial hydrogenation. Full hydrogenation means full saturation. Partial hydrogenation means partial saturation. Same, semi-drying आणि drying सारखं. पूर्णपणे हायड्रोजनेशन म्हणजे सगळे डबल बॉन्ड सॅच्युरेट करायचे. दिस इज फुल हायड्रोजनेशन. And not all double bonds are saturated. Some of the double bonds are saturation. This will be considered as a partial saturation. Now, what is the purpose behind partial saturation? Partial hydrogenation can give wide range of consistency of the finished product. Due to partial hydrogenation, we can obtain wide range of the products. Fully hydrogenated oils make the oil hard at room temperature. जर आपण पूर्ण हायड्रोजनेशन केलं किंवा फुल हायड्रोजनेशन केलं तर तो ऑइल सबस्टन्स रूम टेम्परेचरला पण हार्ड होऊन जातो. They increase the stability and shelf life of the fat. Rancidification prevent करायचं असेल आणि तो oily or fat substance, if we are going to store them for prolonged period of time, storage period वाढवण्यासाठी we are going for hydrogenation, and they are basically cost efficient and preferred for their unstability. Most commercial wood products. So what we have discussed today, this hydrogenation is having application is that we can increase the lifespan of the product. So today we have discussed important concepts of our last analytical constant or the characteristic property, that is acetyl value, basically divided, or the procedure for determination of acetyl value is divided into two steps. First, we have to acetylate that product with the help of acetic anhydride, and after acetylation, amount of acetic acid produced during acetylation is neutralized by potassium hydroxide. This procedure can be done after the determination of saponification value, because saponification value is there in the formula. Then we have discussed a very important property, that is the drying of oil is nothing but hardening of the oil. Then applications of drying oil, that is they are used in the color industry for the preparation of paints. Then we have discussed just now hydrogenation of oil and fat. Hydrogenation is also having their own application. We can increase the lifespan of the drug. We can store them for prolonged period of time, and this is also used as a substitute for the butter which we have obtained from the animal origin. So these many points